My name is Roger Fink, and I tell stories. But before I start, I have to tell you something that happened last week. Hal Holbrook was in town, and he does Mark Twain tonight. And I went down to see him, and I was sitting in the audience, it got very awkward, and it was like a deja vu, and then I got angry because it seems like this Twain fellow has been stealing my material. And so I wanted to tell you that the stories that I'm going to tell you is absolutely the honest God's truth, mostly. This is a story that took place in the Pfizer labs. And you can look it up online. You have to spell it Pfizer with a P. The P is silent, like in swimming. And what happened was they had this drug that was for ADT, attention deficit disorder. And I got interested in that because a lot of my family suffers from it. Seems like every time I give them advice, man, their eyes glaze over and they start putting in their earphones. Well, what they found was, as a side effect to this, as they tracked the medicine, that the people got more intelligent. And this took them in a whole different direction. And they went to Congress and they got the money, and they said that here's what we're going to do. We think that these make people more intelligent. And that means that we'll have, in a generation, people with better schools and a clean environment and no nukes. You know, conservative nightmares, if you will. So what they did next was they imported a whole bunch of baboons in from Zimbabwe so that they could experiment with them. And they got this gal as an intern to help out. And they were down in the basement of the Georgetown Medical Center. And they started to test these baboons. And it wasn't going well. And then by some strange coincidence, this gal, they had a bring your kid to work day, and she brought her niece in. And the niece got bored. She had attention deficit disorder. And she turned on Sesame Street. And the monkeys started looking. Now, you have to understand, a baboon has this, like, plumage. And it was exactly the same colors as the Sesame Street puppets. And so he thought they were challenging him. And he started banging on the computers. And you know, Cookie Monster was out there going, C is for cookie. And they're banging on the computers. And the intern picked up the paperwork afterwards, and she looked and she sees all of these C's. So she calls the man upstairs. She says, I got something for you. She explains what happens. And they order all the adventures of of Sesame Street that have all the alphabet, and they get 25 discs in, and they play them for the monkeys. Now you know that there's 26 letters in the alphabet. They missed the S, and the monkeys don't know that. So the monkeys are working around the S. And what happened next was they increased the dosage, and they finally got something. It was the first time there was a correspondence between two different species. And it said they had typed out This is it. And it goes completely over their heads. They think it's garbage. Now, our gal was she was studying law in order to be on Fox News. And so every night she plays Fox News, and these monkeys are watching Megyn Kelly. And what happened next was quite interesting. These monkeys started banging out stuff, then they think it's garbage. And the intern picks up all the papers and she drops them. And she spent the whole weekend putting them together. And it's very hard because the monkeys don't know any grammar. They don't know they don't capitalize all letters all the time. They have run-on sentences. They're pretty much like your basic freshman college English student. Anyway, she has to put all the pages in order, and she sees something because she's a law student, and she calls up to the man upstairs, and she tells him, she says, I think we're on the way to something. He says, what is it? She says, these monkeys have typed out, you think it's garbage, but they have typed out word for word the Affordable Care Act. Well, now they go to Congress to get more money. And they go before this committee, and the congressman from the 13th Congressional District in New York sees this, hears what they have to say, and he knows that if they raise the IQ of the people in his district, he's not going to be out of work. So he tells the his other Democrats, he says they kill the bill, and the Republicans go along with it because that's what Republicans do. And I'm finished here now.